Hey, everybody, welcome back. We are continuing our series around all aspects of the job search and career transition and everything in between. I'm Libby Magliolo, and I'm here with my friend Stephanie Smith, and we're going to talk about today researching your target companies. So, we've talked about how to narrow down looking at industries and roles and all these things. So, by now, we've come up with a list of target companies, and these are the companies that are kind of our dream companies and that we're looking at. We're excited about trying to network our way into. So, how do you actually go about the process of researching your target companies? We've said this before, but it's important to come up with this target list of companies because you cannot do everything. You cannot do quality research and quality prep for a list of 100 companies. You just can't do it. And so, researching a list of 5 companies allows you to do some really quality, in depth prep work. So, the way I think about doing research is from 2 different places. And so, there's basically everything you can find online, and then there's what you can't find online that is in people's heads. So, talking about the online aspect of this, it's super obvious advice, but start with the company's website. And the reason is you want to familiarize yourself with the company's core operations. How does the company make money? What are their main revenue streams? What are the job functions that they have there? You're talking to an MBA and a CPA here, so of course I'm going to say that pull up the earnings statement and pull up the annual report. Just go to the investor relations section of the website, because then you'll get to see what are the company's kind of main initiatives, all those things that you need to familiarize yourself with. Also helpful to do research that's not on the company website, whatever you can find on LinkedIn and Glassdoor, whatever people are saying about the company is really helpful. So anything that you can find online to familiarize yourself, that's kind of what your interviewer is expecting that you walk in with. Then there's what you can't find online. And we'll talk about this in another video, the concept of kind of an informational interview. I'm a really, really, really big fan of trying to talk to as many people as you can at that target company, and just ask questions like, what is it like to work there? What is the culture there? What has your experience been? What have been things that have surprised you? That type of thing. Those are things that you are never going to get from the company website or never going to get online. You're going to get the unvarnished truth, but you'll also get a lot of great nuggets about here's how my team works with another team, and here's kind of what I see about the culture, and here's what career progression is like. So that not only preps you to be in a good place for the interview, but it also confirms that, okay, is this a company that I want to be at? Is this a good fit for me? So those are my thoughts. Stephanie, I know you have some more thoughts about how to go about this.
Yeah, I would echo all of that. I would also say, when I think about researching my target companies, what I'm looking for is differentiating information. Especially if you really have gotten to a point where you've narrowed down your field, you've narrowed down your industry, you've narrowed down your role, and now we're looking at what could be considered like very similar positions at very similar companies.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a guarantee they're not. As Libby said, there's a different culture everywhere. There's a different, understanding of what career progression is like. Are we hiring from within? Are we always bringing people from without? Like, just the different expectations. Different expectations about, working remotely versus being, in your chair at your desk. When people work, I know that different public accounting firms, for instance, have different, ideas of what busy season looks like and who is where and when they're working and what communication is like. So these are the kinds of things that, like Libby said, you're only going to get that kind of information from talking with people who are boots on the ground, in these companies and in these firms. But there's also a lot to be found on the website and on the internet as far as differentiating information. If someone's got, a different process for how they're approaching a problem or, situations or their client service, different, proprietary software. If someone is sort of growing in the market and is the next up and coming, company in this industry in your area, maybe that's something you want to get on board with. Or if, for instance, you're finding out that something, was kind of already in its heyday and everybody else is jumping ship, and that's why there's a lot of positions open. So this is where you want the information, and you want to find out if you're catching something on the upswing or if you're going down with the ship. You don't want to to jump on the ship that's going down. You know, and obviously that's a more extreme case. But in general, like you want to go in with your eyes wide open. And this is also going to give you so much more to talk about in the interview, because when you can ask these questions that share that you know the direction of the company and you know its last, you know, its most recent wins and what its hopes are for the future market, you know, read the notes to the financial statements. There's so much information in there that you can bring these like pertinent questions that show that you've really looked into it and really make you shine as a candidate. So it's twofold. It gives you the information as to where you do and don't want to be targeting. Maybe a company just falls off your list after looking at it, or maybe something that was lower on your list shoots to the top after information that you find. So it gives you a lot of information, but then it also makes you a more marketable candidate to come in with that, you know, that background for the interview. So there's a lot to be said for researching your targets. I would not skip this step at all. There's just way too much to benefit from it and way too much that you could be leaving on the table if you don't. So make sure you're researching your target companies. It's a part of your job search. We'll be back next week with more tips and tricks, and we're looking forward to talking with you. Thanks for spending the time with us.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.